So there's a lot of stuff going on. So without all of the processing, straight out of Serum, it sounds like this. It's not that exciting. It was something that I think, according to this preset name, it was a sound that I resampled from Harmer. This is an octave higher than the actual sub, just to keep in mind. That's why it sounded higher. What I did was I used the sine wave on oscillator 2, and I'm using the ring mod from B, which is oscillator 2. Ring mod at 50% is the same thing as amplitude modulation. You have your original sound, and how it's being modulated is, you can kind of think of it as the polarity being inverted depending on the modulator's waveform. At the zero crossing, in theory, you should have just the original wave. When you go to the peak, then it's like the original wave, and then you go to the 0 point, then it's silent. And then when you go down to the trough of the modulator, inverts the polarity of the carrier waveform. And so when you turn it all the way up, you can get kind of like a squarey, odd harmonic-y sound. You can kind of mix between even and odd harmonics in a way. If you have your carrier set to an octave higher, having your modulator set to the 0 octave, and then ring modding it with just a sine wave, basically what it's doing is you're able to mix between your even and odd harmonics of the wave, and you can get some really cool texture and timbre by doing that. And so this kind of gave it like a more like throaty, guttural kind of like sawtooth wave sounding harmonics. And then high pass filter. That's what really gets at that growl going. Phaser, same thing. Modulating the frequency. Very subtle. Asymmetrical distortion. With the pre-high pass filter and the mix at 50 just to bring out more top end. EQ, pretty much doing the same thing. Just static EQ, bring out more top end. Multiband compressor. Then I run the whole thing through a sub crossover so that my low end is totally unaffected, but the top end has all this filtering and reverb. So I have like a little bit of reverb, very short decay time to kind of give it some ambience. And then this stuff over here, this effect track. Reese madness with the EQ automation. There is the chorus that's doing the flanger filter. If I take that off, there's a lot of phasiness, and like it just feels like a much more organic sound by doing that kind of stuff. Also, this reverb wet dry is being automated, so like at the tails of these sounds, it's going from mono and dry sounding to like really spread and diffuse sounding. I like that. I'm using a static chorus as a comb filter. Basically, you initialize everything and set delay to off because you don't want that to modulate. Turn the amount to 0, mess with the initial delay 1's delay time, and then it's basically a comb filter that you can control yourself. And then I'm running a little bit of an amp at like 17%, and then just topping it off with another multi-band dynamics. And then this other section here is just some saturation, more top and low end taming, and then some high mids and sub taming, and then top it off with a glue compressor. It's excessive, I know. That's how I did it back then.